Hopefully all of you guys have upgraded to 1.232 and then 6246. So that's what we're on, 6246. So last week's workshop, I talked about some of the new features that were thrown into BlackBird there. One of them was this alerts option here. So right now we have all of these different alert types available. So let's see. Yeah, I think I can. I think I'll put together a little demonstration on using these alert types, which are available in other places as well. So here's something that you may not have seen yet. So let me put together a quick order set. So let's just put together a profit target. And let's see. I'm going to use a slightly different stop loss, trailing stop loss here. Yeah, how much? Let me use this swing low high. Yeah, I think that'll create a good demonstration. Okay, so let me continue on here. So let's see. So here's one of the little hidden features here that you may not have seen yet. So I just, I created an order set just so I can have a more practical demonstration here. We have a trailing rule set up here. And so this stop loss is going to trail the swing patterns here. So the key is, you see how the actions are set to move the stop loss to the swing patterns. All right, so let's open this up, take a quick look here. All right, so our stop loss is going to match the SI swings, highs, lows indicator. It's going to match the plots coming from that indicator. So, right. So we have a setting of 3 and 3 for the SI swings, highs, lows by default there. So let me also put that indicator on the chart just so we can have all the bits and pieces. Make it a little easier to visually see what's going on, right? So the swing patterns, that swing patterns options, that you guys just saw there in BlackBird, that's coming from the swings, highs, lows. Right, there we go. So so 3 and 3, and we're using the widest bottoms and widest tops. So I will throw that on the chart. All right. So if I place a long trade, our stop loss is going to get placed at the most recent swing low. If I go short, the stop loss is going to be placed at this swing high. Right, so let's just go long there, and let's see. Oh, all right. So it looks like the settings on my chart aren't quite exactly what was set into BlackBird here. So let me just double check here. All right. So 3 and 3. So let me just check my BlackBird settings, and 3 and 3. Oh, tightest swings. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Tightest swings. Okay, yeah, it's using the tightest swings. So, let's see. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna make some changes real quick. So that way BlackBird's using the same indicator settings that I have on my chart here. Let's just make everything match up. There we go. All right. There. All right, there we go. So now we can see the stop loss for a long trade is sitting on top of the that magenta plot right there, right? So the swings highs low indicator, you can see it's plotting, right, the swing lows and the swing highs right now. So, all right, just a moment, guys. Try and get rid of the background noise. There we go. Okay. Okay, so this is a long route to get to what I want to demonstrate to you guys, but I want you to understand, at least how the stop losses are moving. That'll be a little important as to what this new feature is I'm going to show you. And all right, so let's go into the trailing actions. So, all right, so here's what I want to show you. Actually, let's just name this here. All right. So this trailing rule, or this trailing rule is trailing the swing points, right? So let's create a new one here, and this one, I'm gonna call it send alert. So, and oh, shoot, actually. I just realized I don't yeah, actually this may not work as I expected, so I might have to create a different example here. Well, all right, shoot, this isn't quite as I guess as good of an example as I wanted to, but we'll do it anyways. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a trailing. Wait. Oh, sorry. I'm on the wrong rule. There we go. I want to use the one up on top here, this send alert. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a trigger that's going to trigger after $50 in profit. Yeah. All right, so after $50 in profit. Okay. Now here's what I wanted to show you guys. So under the actions, there is one of the actions can now be to send an alert. So you can see we can send an alert to the log. We can send a log message. We could put a chart symbol on the chart. We could send a message to the chart. We could play a sound. We could send an email. And let's see, where is it? I'm going to do a simple one here. I'm just going to post an alert to the alerts window there. So this will be a simple alert to understand here. So let me just create a a simple message, actually. Yeah. So there you go. I'll just put in a little message there, and it'll include the date and the time and the instrument and the chart. So all right. So really what I'm trying to show you guys is that there's more actions available. So under the actions, we now have various, alert options here. So under your trailing rules there. That way you can get more feedback from BlackBird. All right, so let me click OK. And the next thing I will need to do is I will need to bring up the alert window so that we can actually see the alert. So there's the window. All right, so let's see. Let's take, let's see, I can't go short. All right, I can go long. And let me move the market up. And I'm going to move my profit target way up here. All right, so we have $20, $35 in profit. And let's pay attention here. There we go. We got our $50 in profit. And let's see. We should be getting our alert message if I set everything up right. Let's see. All right. Well, I might have missed something there, so let me take a look at the rules that I set up here again. And oh, yeah, sorry. It's $50 in profit for the stop loss. Okay. Yeah, let me rebuild this here. Let's get rid of that. So I need to build a much simpler stop loss. Sorry. Yeah, I built that $50 profit in the stop loss so that, so the stop loss itself needs to make $50 in profit. So let me recreate a simple trailing rule here. All right, so I'm just creating a simple 10-tick trail. Yeah, so this rule is just creating a simple 10-tick trail. Okay, so we're going to use the last price and then last price minus 10 ticks. So stop loss is going to get moved to the last price minus 10 ticks, and we need to set the repeat on this. So we're going to repeat every 1 tick. So every 1 tick in direction. So when price moves in the direction of the trade, every tick that price moves in the direction of the trade, that's when the stop loss will, that's when the rule gets updated. That's when the rule gets repeated, right? And so when this trailing rule gets repeated, that's when the action occurs, right? So, yeah, so every time price moves 1 tick in the direction of the trade, the action will get executed, which will be to move our stop loss to the last price minus 10 ticks there. Yeah, all right. So anyway, so that's just a simple 10-tick trailing rule. And so now now that I've got a, so the last trailing rule just wasn't moving our stop loss fast enough because we were using swing points here. So I'm making a stop loss trailing rule that's going to trail that stop loss a lot faster. So, all right, and so now I'm going to put in here the $50 in profit, and then we'll send an alert to the alerts message. And let's see. All right, I think that'll make a good enough message. There. All right, let's give this one a shot. Now that we've got some trailing, now that we have a stop loss that'll trail pretty quickly, and I need to move my profit target way down here, right? And so when our stop loss achieves $50 in profit, so not the trade, but when the stop loss achieves $50 in profit, we'll get that alert message. All right, so let's put our alerts over here. All right, so now we just need to wait for price to move down. Oh, sorry guys. Shoot, I forgot. I moved my profit target here. Let's see. I moved my profit target, and I need to turn the. So you see the auto trailing is turned off. So because I manually moved one of my orders, that tells BlackBird that you want to manually adjust your orders. And so therefore BlackBird will turn off any kind of trailing rules, because you've told it that you're manually taking over. So I need to turn the trailing back on, and now you can see my stop loss is moving. There we go. All right, so let's move price down, right? And so once that stop loss makes $50 in, there we go. There we go. All right, good deal. So let's do this again. And this time, let's take a long trade. And I'll move the market up. And I need to move that order. Turn my trailing back on. There we go. And so my stop loss has moved $50. So, yeah, so basically, here's a little kind of, I guess, well, this is one of the newer features that was just recently added to BlackBird, right? Is in the actions, you can now create a bunch of different alerts there. So, let's see. Yeah, if you wanted to, let's change this to triangle down. Yeah, triangle up. Yeah, so we'll change this to plot some chart symbols on a chart, just to do something different. And let's see here. So drawing a triangle on the chart, I don't see that as very practical, but it just kind of demonstrates that you can do it. At least not for a stop loss. Maybe drawing something on the chart related to the entry signal might be a little more practical. So yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Let's see, market, and that's right. I'm using a market order, so there's no trailing options available when you're using a market order because, right, market orders just instantly get filled. So let's see. All right, so I guess I'll just stick with the stop loss trailing action. All right, so you can see basically BlackBird's going to be drawing these triangles on every bar. And that's coming from that trailing rule. All right, as soon as we get another bar built here. All right, so these triangles are coming, or they're being generated from this trailing rule here. Right, so we have the action. So the action right here, we set our action to draw a little chart symbol. Right, so whenever that stop loss moves. So, yeah, can't say that's really practical, but just to kind of demonstrate, you've got all these alert capabilities that you can now use. So, all right. Well, so that was one thing I thought I could show you guys. I'll see what else I can come up with here. Well, I guess yeah. From this, let's jump into something a little more practical. Let's see. So let me get rid of that trailing rule, and under alerts, here's something that's probably a little more practical. I still have a little minor cough once in a while. So here's probably something a little more practical. So whenever a position gets activated, whenever a position is opened, this active position alert is triggered whenever so say for example, right, so with a market order, that's going to open a position instantly, right, because you get filled at the market, right? So with the market entry, that creates an instant active position, so that, right, because the market order gets filled instantly. If I switched to, say, a limit order, and let's see here. I'll say, yeah, a limit order. We'll set it to the close price, like minus a tick or two. All right. So the point is, we're using a limit order. Now, of course, your limit orders don't get filled instantly. Typically, right? Price has to pull back a little bit to pick up your limit order to get you in the market. And just a moment here, let me stop my trend here. There we go. All right, so with the alerts, okay, so now if I'm using a limit order, you will only get an active position once that limit order is filled, right? And then you have an open position, and then your position becomes active. So, so let's do this. Yeah, let me just send. Let's just create another alert to the alerts window. I'm gonna play around with the colors here a little bit just to kind of jazz things up. All right, let's create a message. All right, I guess that's a good enough message. And there we go. All right, so let's kind of demonstrate this here. All right, so we're gonna have to pay attention to our alerts window here. And let's go long. All right, so we have a long limit order sitting there waiting to get picked up. So let me pull the market down, and as soon as this limit order gets filled, we'll see an alert message. There we go. There's our alert message, letting us know that we got a long limit order filled at, right, there's the price on the YM5 range. So there's probably that's probably a little more practical use of the, the new alerts capability within BlackBird. Right. So let's just take a look at that again. So there we go. So we're using the active position there. Let's see. Of course, flat position. So whenever your trade is closed out, you can create a message as well. There. All right. So Heinz would like to see how to trail the stop after break even. Trail the stop after a break even. Okay, you bet. So let's just keep adding to this here. All right, so we'll stick with our simple 10 tick stop loss, and we already have a trailing rule going here. So we'll just modify it a little bit. So first, I guess let's make a break-even trailing rule. Let's see, actually, let me name this one first. So, all right, there we go. So this trailing rule, call it break even at, I'm going to use an odd number here. Let's just say break even at 8 ticks. Basically it's going to be 8 ticks of profit there. So for a break even, the way we're going to do this, there's two ways we could do it. We could create an initial delay. And I can just put in there 8 ticks in the direction. So once price moves in the direction of the trade, once we get 8 ticks, then this trailing rule will trigger. So I can use a delay, or if I wanted to, I could use the profit or loss option there. So I could change my currency to ticks, right? So I could put in here after 8 ticks of profit, so either way, I could use this delay or I could use the trigger. It's kind of, two ways to do the same thing, right? So, but I'm just going to go with the initial delay. It's just a lot quicker to set up. So that's kind of my preference, speed and ease. All right, and then the action. So we don't want to move the stop loss to the last price, right? Because that gets your stop loss filled instantly if you do that. So what you want to do is we want to move our stop loss to our entry price, right? So, right, you'll notice there's 2 entry prices now. So the average entry price, that one applies when you have multiple order sets, right? So if I have, say 2 order sets and I'm using limit orders for both, well, let's say the first one is a market order, and then order set B, if I create a second one here, order set B, say that one is my limit order. Well, right, I would get filled at 2 different prices, and of course the average of those 2 different fill price, that's what the average entry price is. Is you take up the, you figure what your entry price is for multiple order sets, and you calculate that average. And so this average is of all of your orders, all of your entry orders. So, but, or you can just grab the entry price for just the one order set, right? So each order set could have a different entry price if you're using, say, limit orders and stop orders and stuff. So the OCO entry price just applies to the entry price for this limit order, this one. So there we go. So we'll just move the stop loss to the entry price with no offset. So it'll be an exact break even. If I wanted it to be a break even plus 1 tick, then I would just go like that. Just add a 1. So that would be a break even plus 1 tick there. So, all right. Heinz would like to see a plus 1 on the break even, so you bet. All right. So there we go. All right. So once we get 8 ticks in the direction of the trade, then the stop loss gets moved to the entry price, plus 1 tick, right? And there's no repeat for that, right? I mean, a break even only happens once, right? You can't move your stop loss to break even multiple times. Well, I guess you could, but it's not very practical. So the repeat is only happens once. So, all right, so we got a break even, and so there's our break even. Okay, so now let's modify the trailing stop loss after the break even. So again, let's go to our delay, and let's say we want to wait for our stop loss to start trailing, say after 10 ticks in profit, right? So our break even happens at 8 ticks in profit, and our trailing will start after 10 ticks in profit. All right, and then it's going to trail. It's going to trail by 10 ticks. All right, so we're going to take the last price and then subtract 10 ticks, and that creates a 10 tick trailing stop loss there. All right, yeah, I think I have all my everything lined up there. So let's give it a shot. All right, let's see. Price is up, so let's take a short trade. All right, there's a short trade, and I'll move the market down. And let's see, take a look at our alerts. So there we go. We got a short limit order filled. And let's look at the number. Let's look at ticks. All right, so we're at 5, 6 ticks there. 3, 4. All right, well. Let me just move the market down a little faster. There we go. Bingo. As soon as they hit 8 ticks of profit, that moved our stop loss to break even +1. All right, now that we've gotten to 10 ticks of profit, once it starts moving beyond 10 ticks of profit, then now you can see our stop loss is starting to inch down. Oh. All right, let's just move that market down real fast. There. All right, there we go. So here, I'll open this back up again. Okay, there's our trailing rolls. All right, so just a moment here. Let me take a look at the board and see what other questions have come up. Heinz would like to create a runner. All right, so let's create a runner. A runner. So what we're going to do is copy A. All right, so order set B, that's going to be our runner. And essentially what a runner is it's just an order without a profit target. All right, you just let your stop loss do the running. So there you go. That, runners are pretty darn easy, right? All you got to do is just copy one of your previous order sets, right? Copy A and just get rid of your profit target. that's all a runner is. That's simple there. So, right now, of course, in this example, my entries are both the same. Right? Entries are both the same, and my stop loss behavior are identical as well. So let's hit that, and let's go long, and we'll play this out here. Okay, there we go. We got picked up. There we go. So we got a long limit order filled, and yeah, I'll just leave the trend pegged all the way up, and we'll just let this play out. So you'll notice my profit target, right? We have a profit target for A, and that's one contract. Right, so it's only one contract. And you'll notice our stop losses, we have 2 contracts for our stop losses. Right, so we have 2 stop losses sitting on top of each other. So we can see B is sitting on top of A, right? So A, the stop loss for order set A is sitting underneath the stop loss for order set B. So we can see two numbers there, right? One for stop loss B, and the white, it says number 2 because it's adding all the stop loss. It's adding the number of contracts up that are sitting on top of each other. All right, so as soon as price moves up and it fills our profit target, then the number of stop losses will just, all we'll be left with is just one stop loss. All right, there we go. Just about ready. Get that hit. There we go. All right, we got our alert message. Yeah, we got 2 of them, of course, because right, I copied the rules from OCO set A. So we've got 2 trailing rules that are going to send alert messages. So we got 2 alert messages because I didn't delete the second alert message there. So, but in any case, we can see here we go. We got a runner here. So as price moves up, our runner is just going to keep going up like so. You notice we got the 2 alert messages. So what I should do is in order set B, I should go in here and delete that alert message. All right, I'll just delete that. All right, one last thing to do here. So I got the question, how do we save this? Well, right there you go, the big fat save button there. So we'll just hit save, and I'll save it under today's date. And let's see, today is the 16th, I believe. Yep. Let's see, what should I call this? All right, I think that'll work for a name. So, right, there we go. So, yeah, with that, guys, have a good weekend, and I hope to see you guys next week. All right, bye-bye, guys.